All right then, welcome back. This is Business Center right here on, of course, Metropole TV, and today we are speaking about coffee, matters coffee, and joining us today is Michael Ochieng, who is a marketing specialist at Connect Coffee, and he is here to just explain to us more about how the export process is and how they extract coffee from the coffee bean. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Kelvin.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
All right, thank you so much. But let us begin with something fun. How do you like your coffee, black or white?
Well, depends on the mood and the type of time of day. But I'd say generally I like it black, because when you have coffee while it's black, then you get to enjoy its various flavors, its various tastes, and then the richness. Everything else becomes more of an undertone of milk when you get milk coffee. But then I'm not saying milk coffee is not good. There's a time and place for milk coffee. But I like it black.
All right.
Yeah.
And now, you as a marketing specialist for Connect Coffee, what does the company do? Just explain to us a bit about Connect Coffee.
Well, Connect Coffee, from our founders, had two concepts. The first concept was being able to trade and to be in the coffee business while including all the stakeholders of the value chain. That's the farmers, that's the suppliers, and that's also the final resellers, and you're looking at cafes or individuals who are buying the coffee. So we wanted the final consumer to know the process the coffee goes through until the time it's consumed. And then another thing about Connect Coffee was that we really wanted to expand specialty coffee consumption in Kenya. So you find that we deal with the very best coffee that Kenya can produce. Sometimes it's expensive, yes, even for us as the distributors of this, but we are trying to hold up to that standard. So that's what we do at Connect Coffee.
All right. Yeah. And how have you managed to stay afloat amid this COVID-19 situation that came and almost made everything to go back to zero? How have you managed to stay afloat?
Yes, we suffered. We, just like anyone else, you know, you'd be a hypocrite if you say that the COVID situation did not affect you, especially if you're in the food and beverage industry. But we've tried other alternatives. We've introduced models like the automatic machine, where we can get this same quality of coffee in a cheaper way, in a more cost-effective way, to places of work. And then I also understand at some point people are not going to work. This machine, we were also pushing it to households and giving individuals so that they could continue to enjoy our coffee at a relatively low cost. Yes. And
explain to us, if the cameraman can show, we have a machine here that is used to extract coffee.
Yes.
From the coffee beans, right?
Yes.
So kindly just explain to us a bit about what it does, and then now we can have an illustration of what it really does.
Okay, so this is the fun part. This machine is a barista personified, right? It can basically give you, I think, 90% of the coffee drinks you'd probably go for if you go to your favorite cafe, maybe Java or Art Cafe or any other cafe. If you go to, you're most likely going to order a cappuccino, an Americano, a latte. You'd get all this in this machine. And it makes all those drinks within a minute or two. Yes.
And can you just illustrate to us this? At least we see how.
Oh, you want me to demonstrate now?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the fun part.
Yeah, that's the fun part. Let's look at how this this machine works, so that at least we can.
Okay. So usually whenever I'm demonstrating this machine, I like for everyone to see the base of all drinks, and is an espresso.
Okay.
So if you're going to order a coffee drink in a cafe, the most important thing of that drink would be the espresso. If the espresso is not good, the cappuccino will not be good, the latte will not be good, whichever drink you make will not be good. And how do you see if an espresso is good? There's going to be a separation between the coffee itself and the crema. So if that doesn't happen to this drink, then you'll notice that the coffee is either stale or the machine is not good. So let's try an espresso and see.
Okay, let's try and see.
Yeah.
So guys, pay attention to this.
So I said 1 minute. Yep. Okay, let's see. So we're expecting 2 layers on the drink. So, okay. So here, have a look, Kevin.
Okay.
So do you notice that there's a coffee now and there's a thick,
Yes.
rich crema?
All right.
So that shows you how fresh the coffee is. And if the crema exists, trust me, the aroma also exists. So you'll be having all those fragrances coming out
Wow.
of the coffee.
Yes, I can hear it very, very rich and
Rich.
strong, right?
Yes, correct.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is the base. From this, you can decide, I mean, some people prefer it this way. To be honest, sometimes I also just prefer quick coffee. But if you're relaxing and you prefer to just enjoy your coffee smoothly, especially with milk, then the next step would be just press the milk option, adjust the knob to the left a bit, and then wait for your cappuccino.
All right.
Yeah.
So, and for the milk, you'll have to have it outside, and then you connect.
Yes. So we decided to use this design because milk can be very easily contaminatory, right? Milk goes stale fast, milk dries up fast, and then we decided to find a way that the milk was not inside the machine, so that anytime you're done with the milk and with the machine, you can just unplug the milk line.
All right.
And then wash it separately. So if the milk was in the machine, then you'd always need to clean up the whole machine every time you're done using it.
Okay.
Yep.
So it has to stay outside so that at least it
Yes,
doesn't...
the milk line has to always stay outside. I mean, we prefer it that way because we're expecting, we're not going to always have experts handling the machine, right? I've demonstrated to you right now. I'm pretty confident if you came, you'd be quite comfortable to extract an espresso and go to the milk option. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make it very easy and straightforward for someone to just have a coffee drink that is of good quality. This one's for you.
Okay, thank you. Okay,
any
you want me to test it?
Yes, I'd love for you to taste it. And let me know what the quality is.
It's really nice.
Yep.
Yeah, just really nice. I know my producer, wherever she is, she wishes to have been here, but now we'll have this all to myself. All right. And now, this machine, can you go maybe as a family and say we want to have this machine?
Yes. Actually, that's what we are trying to campaign for at Connect Coffee. We are looking at households that are heavy on the consumption side, and then we give them the machine and they get the coffee from us. It becomes relatively cheap because with this machine, your cost for coffee, unlimited cups would be around 400 Kenya shillings. If you go to your favorite cafe, 1 cup would be around 300 shillings.
Right.
So which one sounds better? I think having the machine and having the coffee unlimited at any time is a much better option. And then this would also, I mean, on the long term, help Kenya to be on the map as a coffee consuming country.
All right.
We are a great coffee producing country, but I think consumption wise, we are still lagging behind. Yeah, tea is the major stakeholder in terms of domestic consumption. So we want people to just realize how good Kenyan coffee can be.
And the cost of this, Is it affordable, or what's the cost of this machine? Maybe if someone wants to buy for themselves.
It is affordable. So we have two options of owning this machine. You can either purchase it, or you can have it through a lease option. So we try to also give rental options. For example, you want it for a short period of time, we provide you on a rental option as well. So both three options are actually quite affordable, depending on which one you go for. And if you wish, I could give you the specific amounts, maybe.
It's okay, you can give it to me. But now, how do you tell the difference between a low grade and a high grade coffee? Right. What's the thing that shows you that this is a low grade coffee and this is a high grade coffee?
At what stage? At the cup stage, or
like even at the after you've made it?
Yeah.
What shows you that this is now a low grade and this is a high grade one?
So usually, so for example, I'll just give you some beans for you to just have a look. Now, good coffee will be uniform.
All right.
Right? So if you see certain disparities, like awkward shapes and maybe broken seeds, or maybe wrinkly looking seeds. I mean, the common features you'll see in humans or animals are the same you'd look for in beans.
All right.
So a bean should be well balanced, similar to the next one, and then of course separated evenly at the middle and hard on all sides. Okay. So if you see anything that is a discrepancy and then it's consistent, it means with every beans, then you'd have defects. And with more defects, then the quality of the bean will go down. Now, sometimes you may not notice this at the stage of just inspection or roasting, but then the taste of the coffee never lies. When you drink the coffee, you get some sort of bitterness. And I know most people say coffee is bitter, but actually there is the strongness of the coffee that actually permits for a certain degree of bitterness, beyond which it becomes astringent and just unpleasant. That's why you'll find a lot of, when you're using, I'm sorry to use this word, cheap coffee, you'd want to put a lot of sugar for it to acquire taste, or a lot of milk, because then you can just press down the undesired taste. But good coffee, believe me, you can have it either way, with or without sugar.
Okay.
Yes.
And any other thing that you want to show us about this that we've not maybe done?
Okay.
We can extract another.
Maybe I extract for you. Yeah. Oh, I was going to tell you something about this machine, which is very interesting. In about 1 minute, if you have a guest or if you have a unique taste, you can always come to the machine and just go to the recipe and customize your drink based on how you want it. Like for example, I'm using an 8-ounce cup. I don't want my cup to be half full simply because the machine comes in that default setting.
All right.
So this machine can actually allow me to increase the volume of my cup without compromising the coffee quality. So whichever cup size you have, I know some people would wonder, this cup is small, then how do I fix that?
Yeah.
This machine can actually cut off that. Yeah, thank you very much. And you just, after you do that, you just press a menu. So in a minute or two, you can always play around with the menu and come up with whichever drink you want.
Okay, this is so interesting, because you see many of the times when you go to a cafe, you just see this machine over there, and then you're like, let me just, we're good to drink this. But now it's really good to see how the process is. And if guys, you will see, this is really nice because the coffee beans are back here, and then we have them being mixed inside here, and then they are being extracted from there. And then do you make this?
Yeah, we roast our coffee. This coffee was roasted yesterday. So this is as fresh as it gets.
All right.
So when we say, I'm sure you've come across this term, bean to cup, right? So here is the bean. Then we pour it to the machine. Then when you press your button, whichever drink you have, it's going to come straight to your cup. Wow. So you're drinking a freshly roasted bean. Yes. So I may be forced to say this. Sometimes you go to a supermarket, you want to get beans. It's hard to tell that that coffee has been there for, say, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and that's not the time it was roasted. So maybe it was roasted a month ago. It stays on the shelf for another month. So you get the coffee after, say, 2 months. That's very different from what we offer here, because this is freshly roasted beans, and we give it to you as beans, so you don't need to grind it, because when you grind the beans and you don't use it, powdered coffee loses its integrity every single day.
Wow.
So you want to keep it as beans for as long as you can until you're very ready to use it. So that's the concept we have in the machine. You get your beans fresh, you get your cup fresh.
So what would you advise for coffee? Do we take the ground one that is powder, or we take it from the bean itself?
I'd advise you get the beans, yes. And the moment you grind your beans, be ready to consume it. Yes, because that's the idea. When you grind the beans, the aroma comes out, the flavor comes out, it's ready to be consumed. So it's about time it gets in contact with either hot pressured water or hot water and being consumed right away. But then when you grind it and keep it as powder, after a day or two, it's lost 50% of its value.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, let's get back to this side, and then we finish this. I believe
Can I
we
make
have
one coffee for myself as
yes,
we...
yes.
Okay.
Yes,
all
you
right.
can.
Okay.
You can.
Okay, sure.
Yes. And now, what's compare the COVID-19? How has COVID-19 affected exports? Did you have any difficulties during this period? Do you have any difficulties in exporting coffee at this time?
Yes. COVID actually affected export more than our local business, because then you're looking at unpredictable factors on so many ends. You're looking at the importing country, the economic situation in those countries, and then of course we mainly export to Asia, Europe, and mainly the developed world. And when you look at COVID, the restrictions, I mean the most strict restrictions are in these countries. So you find that cafes that had maybe a threshold of having 50 or 100 guests in a day are now sitting about 10 people, because then everyone is staying at home. So then they are forced to import less than they did. And then we have other external factors, that like maritime situations. I'm sure you heard about what happened in Suez Canal. That
held really for a very long time.
Exactly. So it affected everyone, including us. And then the longer such things stay, the more the cost is incurred to the exporter.
All right.
Because then you cannot keep your promise of delivering in time, etc. So there's been a lot of factors, but then we look at it with a touch of positivity, because then in the same way that we adapted with automatic machine to actually make it possible for people to get coffee at home, I'm sure with exports, after this turbulence is over, we are trying to find ways again to be in touch with our traditional customers, and maybe even open up for new markets.
Okay.
Yes.
And lastly, as we finish, what are some of the factors influencing the quantity and the quality of coffee that you export?
Right. Of course, bidding, of course, because you can only export it if you get it. Yeah. So sometimes we can bid, but if we don't get it on the auction, then we're not going to be able to export it. So that, of course, affects. And then demand. Of course, people on the other side these days are leaning more towards paying when they get the goods.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of unpredictable factors. So that's also affecting how we do business. And everyone is trying to hold on to their money until they can liquidify whatever they receive. So that's affecting our exports, quantity of exports at the moment. And then I'd say lastly, it's like common knowledge now, COVID, of course, And that's more because there's been reluctance to travel. Because these things, if you're going to export, you always have to go for business trips, visit the buying countries, see their preferences in tastes, do things like cupping, see what's trending there, then come and find a product that is close to what they desire. So these things have really affected how and how much we export, but it's not permanent. I think this is temporary.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, guys, that has been Michael Ocheng, who is the marketing specialist for Connect Coffee, and he's just showed us how they extract coffee and how this is done, and also we've gotten to know some knowledge on exporting of coffee from Kenya to countries like Asia and the rest of them that Connect Coffee exports coffee to. With that, we finished this, and we are going for a short break. But remember, we are going to come back with innovations and agri-facts. And remember to continue sending us your comments on our question of the day. Our question of the day is, what are the 2 types of coffee? Just engage with us on all our digital platforms, and we will read some of your comments as we continue with the show. But now we go for a short break. We'll be right back.